Alright, we're going to try and create some tubes using these 4 different techniques. So I'm going to make a geometrical set for each one. So I'll just copy the names. And I'll rename this one right now. Whoops. And we'll make some more geometrical sets. And rename this one. Two more to go. One last one. Let's make this one the in-work object. So the first one is just rule direction, meaning straight line. So that's a simple cylinder feature, which we've talked about earlier. Just to repeat, again, I want to do something here. I want to pretend like we have a line, and I will do point direction, and I'll create a point 3 inches in X, 2 inches in Z, staying on the Y equals 0 or the buttock line 0. So I created that point at 3 and 2. Here's my point. Okay, it's a line going in the direction of the X vector. And I'm going to make that line 5 inches long. So when I go to cylinder, what would be cool is if I selected that center line, it would just use that center line for the length and defining the start and the end. But it's going to ask for a point, so I grab a point. And now it's asking for a direction. I grab this line. It would be neat if it used the same length of that line, but it doesn't. Let's make this a radius of a 1/2 inch. Now, what is length 2? Let's go 5 and hit preview. See, it's going from 0 and going backwards 5 inches. So length 2, I really want to leave at 0. Length 1, I want the same length as that line. As you recall, I used 5 inches for the length of the line, so I go 5. Well, what if this line changes to 8? The line is now 8 inches long. Wouldn't it be neat if that cylinder followed the same length of that line? Let's do this. Create, double-click the cylinder to modify it. For a length, instead of keying in a length, you can right-click and measure an item. So if I measure this line, it measures the length of that line. Why is it not grabbing it? I had to grab the line off the tree for some reason. So now measuring the length of the line, I click on that for location and say, okay, not only does it create the measurement, but it makes the parameter value for the cylinder the same length as my measurement. So you can see here, length number 1 is now under intensified, meaning that it's not anything I can edit because it is linked to the length of the line 1. You see in the specification tree, line 1 is 8 inches. So no matter what I change this line length to, that cylinder will always follow. Now, the red means it needs an update. You can set that in your local preferences to automatically update, or you can just hit the update button when you see that. Again, change the length to 10 and hit update. The length of that cylinder is now linked to the length of that line. Okay, that is the cylinder command.